And you're welcome. Thank you for staying with us. It is still iBrand Day Break, and it's time to look into your personal finance. And of course, we have Charles Fakroha in the house with us.
Good morning, Uche.
Thank you for joining us today. All right, we are looking at vote buying and selling and your personal. When we hear this, the first thing that comes to your mind is, what has it got to do with personal finance? I know elections happened on Saturday, and you know that's the only season in the year or in a period of time where you start hearing vote buying, vote this one, vote that one, and then you're hearing it and you're hearing personal finance. How does that come together?
Yeah, you see, we are already talking about democratic dispensation for us to inculcate that values of democracy. It has to be seen to be fair to everybody. Our elections supposed to have that integrity, so that not only when you have election, people say you go to court because they don't have integrity of that election. And now, what are some of the factors that will make the integrity of an election, so that even if you lost as a candidate, you will now congratulate your opponent? But the build up to the election, during the election, and even sometimes after the election, we see a lot of violations. And one of the things people like us, I have monitored elections before, at least a local government election in Lagos State, and of course the last presidential and governorship election. You see people before the election, some days to the election, with cash gifts, with money. You are giving this money or gift to influence the decision of the voters. But we keep hearing vote buying, vote buying, vote. What about vote selling? So it's a transaction. There is a willing buyer and there is a willing seller. So that is an exchange. Now the issue now is, how much is being exchanged? How much are you being given when you sell your vote? Is it going to contribute positively to you as an individual in terms of your personal finances? Or if it does not, now what is the implication when it comes to the outcome of that election? So these are the things people like us will begin to look at. I'll give you a very typical example. I don't want to say this off-season election that was, the election is not even concluded now. I heard that in some states, okay, in one state, they've even postponed till next Saturday to conduct for some wards, where there were no election. Let's take the last governorship election that was done in March, where I saw it vividly because I covered in Delta State. The 2 days to that election, you saw a lot of cash moving around. Because in a rural area, these agents will go from one community to the other and they distribute cash 2 days to the election. And they have a record once you have collected, and all that. Now, once the day of election, that's another strategy again. Once you finish voting and you show them you have voted, now this is the issue now. What we can say is vote buying or selling. You finish voting, you cast your vote, you go to somewhere else, somebody is there waiting for you and is giving you cash. You are signing against your name. Now, the issue is, will you say that is vote buying? Because the person is not too sure whether you voted for their preferred candidate or not. Are we going to say that is vote buying? Now, there are some, of course, thanks to the electoral bodies, you cannot snap your ballot that this is where you voted for. So I could have voted for a particular party and go and collect money for another party. But in the build-up, these persons have known that these people are going to vote for us. So on the day of election, they are very sure that they voted for their candidate, so you come and collect your money. While some, even at that election ground, where people are voting, you see them inducing voters. For me, that is the violation. Because when you are running the election, you must spend money. But the issue we are asking the voters, your conscience, how much are you selling your vote? You want to elect your government officials for the next 4 years. At most, what they can give you there is maybe 4,000-5,000 naira. And you collect that. Do you still have the moral justification to tell them you have not done this, you have not done this? Because you have sold your conscience for 4,000-5,000 naira for the next 4 years. So if you calculate the next 4 years, that 5,000 naira, how much is added to your personal finance? It is insignificant. So we are saying vote selling should not be encouraged. People say, what are the factors that contribute to this vote selling? You know, looking at vote selling now, people willing to sell their votes. But what about the other supply side? The vote buying. Agents, politicians are also ready to buy these votes. So, but at the end of the day, it is not deepening our democracy. At the same time, we are not having credible election because people just vote based on the amount of money they are being paid. And Party A will give you 10,000. Party B will come and say, okay, I'm offering 20,000. So what happens? Your vote goes for the highest bidder and not for the preferred candidate. So coming to this current off-season election now, with due respect, you can see how government had to deploy EFCC, had to deploy ICPC to this state that are doing the election. And from the report we are getting, they intercepted cash. I heard somewhere 11 billion, 4 million, and even in some hotels, they actually saw people, you know, agents inducing people to go and vote. All what these agents and political parties are doing, it shows that there is no political education because they are taking advantage of the poverty in the land. And that will not deepen our democracy. We will be going back every election cycle, going back 10, 20 years, because we want to improve our democracy. We want to ensure that the people who get elected office are the right candidate. Because most of the problem we have today in Nigeria is about leadership. And if I have bought my way in to a position, then I can do whatever I want to do. Because I will tell you, I have actually paid you off. So I need to also recoup. Because if it's an exchange. I've invested my money by paying for your vote, and you have voted for me. So when I get there, the first thing I need to do is to recoup the investment I have made. And of course, that will be at the detriment of the state or local government, as the case may be.
All right. Thank you so much, Charles, for dropping by the studio this morning. It's good to actually see the relationship between, you know, these things that people do and not knowing the direct consequences that it has on them as individuals and even the country at large. Thank you once again, Charles. We're looking forward to having you on the program again.
Thank you, Robert. The way forward is financial literacy. We need to educate our people, create that awareness so that they know, because poverty is not expected to make you to go and steal. That means you're already a thief. It's not the poverty. So those who say because of poverty, that's why they sell their vote, that is not an excuse. You already have that mindset. So we need to have a change of mindset moving forward to have a credible elections in the country.
And financial literacy, very important. iBrand, they break.